Welcome and great to see you at this webinar, Introduction to Academic Professional Degree in Marketing Management. My name is Anett Keresztes. I came from Hungary and I'm 26 years old. I'm currently in my third semester in this program and I am one of the 5 students and 5 people who will be meet during this webinar. In the next 25 minutes, you will be introduced to the content of the program, how you will learn, how you will study in Copenhagen Business Academy, what is your future opportunities if you take these studies, how does the student life look like, and what is the admissions requirements to get into this program. To begin with, I will pass you on to Katrin.
Thank you, Anett, and welcome to all of you as well from me. I have a few practical house rules for you on how we go about this webinar. So first of all, you need to keep in mind that we are recording this session. So you are going to get a copy because you signed up already, and you will get a copy after today. And in that email, I will also send you some useful links. So keep an eye out for that email. We aim to make this presentation 25 minutes long, and we would very much like you to ask questions as we go along. The more you interact with us, the more interesting it will be for all of us. So make sure to use the Q&A, which you can find somewhere on your screen, for questions you would like us to address. Some will be answered along the way, and some of them at the end of the webinar, if we have the time for that. Either way, if you have any questions and we didn't get around to them in the webinar, we will follow up in the email after. Let me just see what else. Yes, we have a chat function as well. This one will mainly be used by us to post links for you as we go along. But to get you all warmed up and started and engaged, we would like you, if you could just type in the chat, "Hi, my name is Paula. I'm joining from Poland," or wherever you're joining from. That would be nice. And with those words, I am going to pass you on to one of our great lecturers, Stefan.
Well, thank you very much. Great. That sounds interesting. Hi, my name is Stefan. I'm one of the lecturers here at Cphbusiness, and most likely one of the lecturers you're going to be having if you choose the AP degree at our school. I'm going to take you through 2 things. I'm going to take you through what an AP degree is, and I'm also going to take you a little bit about what is an academy, basically. A business academy is a little bit unique to Denmark. We have academies all over the world, of course, but business academy is slightly different from what you're probably used to in your home country. It translates to something a little bit like University College of Applied Science, and it's the applied science that is a key term in this context, because we teach things that are applied, meaning things that actually work in the real life. That's not to say that the theory doesn't work, but we're not so much interested in science. We're interested in science that actually has an application in business. For now, I want to hand you over to one of my great students, Vincenzo, who's going to take you through a little bit more about why and how he sees the teaching here at Cphbusiness.
Okay, thank you, Stefan. Hi there, my name is Vincenzo and I'm 22 years old and I come from Venezuela and I'm currently enrolled in the 2nd semester of this program. I initially chose Denmark for 2 main reasons. The first one being that since I was a kid, I was interested in that whole Scandinavian culture, and when I compare the main cities, Copenhagen, Oslo and Stockholm, Copenhagen came out to be the warmest one of them all. The second most important reason is that the student life here is like nowhere else, since you're able to receive SU along with other benefits while you are studying. The reason why I chose Cphbusiness is because before coming to Denmark, I was living in Australia. And while I was there, I applied for bachelor's degree here. But when I arrived, I realized my high school degree weren't on the same level as a Danish one. So I got rejected by all of them. Therefore, right after that, I had a couple of meetings with student counselors that talked me about that AP degrees were all about. So I applied for Cphbusiness as soon as I could. Well, now I'm here, and I could say that this was what I was looking for from the beginning. Now I will pass on to Anett that will tell you a little bit more about her own experience.
Thank you, Vincenzo. My first reason to come here to Denmark, and especially to Copenhagen, was because my boyfriend lived here since 3 years, and we really wanted to move together. So we decided that we are searching some opportunities. How can I come here and, of course, stay for a longer period? And it turns out really, really fast that it's the easiest way to come here is to studying. Well, I already have a degree from Hungary, but in the back of my mind, I always wanted to learn marketing, but in Hungary, this is a kind of difficult because a lot of people and a lot of students want to apply for marketing, and it costs a lot of money to get in and also to study and stay in the program. So it turns out that, yes, this is the best opportunity to study marketing. And why Copenhagen Business Academy especially? I remember that I have a conversation with one of the students on the website. He was also from Hungary, and he was really amazed about the school, about the atmosphere, about the teachers, the contact and the communication with the teachers. So I was totally convinced that I have to apply, and I think this was one of the best decisions that I made in my life. And now I would like to pass you on to Stefan.
Thanks, Annette. I'm going to tell you a little bit more about the program, how it's structured, and what you can expect in terms of how we teach, how you learn, and what you can use it for, basically, which is a pretty good thing when you think about it. On the first year, we start out with themes. Well, we use themes all over the place because what we basically try to do is we teach interdisciplinary. So we don't teach just marketing and business economics and God knows what else. We try to make it so that through themes, we mix things so you get to work with some real life examples that allows you to use different tools from different subjects to come up with solutions. So on the first year, the first theme is about business understanding how business works. That of course implies understanding the why the business is here, how to make some money, that sort of thing. Moving on to the second theme of the first year, which is understanding how markets operate, how you analyze market, how you understand markets. And the last one on the first semester, which is about market research, where you learn to do surveys, questionnaires, how to get insight into consumer behavior and markets, and so on and so forth. Having done that, you're finished with first semester and then move into the second semester, where you will be working with the marketing plan from a strategic and tactical point of view. You'll be making a marketing plan for a company, a real company, by the way, and for while you have the opportunity to work in groups and coming up with both analysis, strategic analysis, and application of how this company should market a product, and so on and so forth. The last part of the second semester is about implementation. So you take a part of, in a few cases, all of your marketing plan and put it to real life. How are you going to make the advertising campaign, the social media campaign, digital marketing, outdoor events, and so on and so forth to implement a part of your marketing plan. That's first year. Second year starts off with internationalization, where you are taught how to take a company international. Denmark is, as I'm sure, I hope you'll find out, a very small country. So we're very interested in how we can grow competences in making Danish companies, and for that matter also international companies, to make them go international. So that's going to be one of the things that you're going to be working with from the outset. Then you move into electives. There are a whole range of different electives. That's going to be the last part of your third semester on second year. I teach an elective in international project management, where we work with this year 2 companies, a Viennese Austrian company and a company based in London. My students are 2 weeks into the program, and they are going to present to the managers in London and in Vienna in another 3 weeks time. And they're a little bit stressed out about that by now, because what we try to do is, of course, not only emulate, but really put them into real situations where they have to perform and work with real cases. Other electives are social media, digital marketing, entrepreneurship, and so on and so forth. Having done that on this third semester, you will move into fourth semester, which includes an internship. All our programs are very focused on internships. It's a key ingredient because it's, again, applied science. So all that you're taught over those 3 semesters, it can now be taken into where you work in a real company for about 3 months' time, and you get to see not only how your theory and tools are applied in real life, but also to gain new experience from that. Most of our students use the internship as a point of departure for writing their final examination project, which is the last part of the second year and the degree, where you get to work with a real company and come up with suggestions how they can improve a market share, sell more, or introduce new projects or products, or and so on and so forth. After these, after graduation, what we typically see our students get into in terms of job titles, we see account manager, sales manager, marketing coordinator, a lot currently in digital marketing, search engine optimization, search engine management, digital marketing, content management, and so on and so forth. A campaign specialist is also something that we see. We tend to, or try to, follow our students as much as we can, even after graduation, to keep in contact and see how they do. How you learn is also important for me to stress, because it's important for me to let you know what is not only expected of you, but also a real life scenario when you get here. You will work on assignments and projects that are reflective of the real world. And often it is actually the real world coming in and do presentation and propose cases for you. But you have to be able to do so as a part of a group. You do not work on an individual basis. It's nothing like you get a book, you go home, you read it, and a couple of weeks or months later, then you go to an exam, and then you basically repeat what it says in the book, and so on and so forth. This is not how it works. Again, this is applied science, is about how you solve a real problem with other students. And sometimes you will be presenting solutions to a real company, as my electives students are going to be doing in about 3 weeks' time. And again, they're a little bit nervous about that. And you will also be experiencing blended learning, where you will work with a mixture between in-person teaching, online teaching, and so on and so forth. Of course, right now, when we have this Corona thing, is a little bit heavy on the online thing, but let's hope for the sake of mankind that we will soon get over to the other side of this coronavirus, and we can start being a little bit more together in person. My job as a lecturer is not to teach in your classical sense. My job is not to stand in front of a whiteboard and say, this is the way the world is. My job is to facilitate your learning and provide feedback and guidance to you as and when you need it. And try to do that, of course, by giving you problems. You work with problems, and you come to me when you need help for how to solve this particular problem. That is really, really important for me to stress, because it's not traditional teaching lecturer standing with a whole crowd of 200 people. It's relatively small classes, typically 35 people in winter uptake, sometimes a little bit less than that. And as you work in groups, you will be presenting or being present with only 3 or 4 or 5 other students, and we will work on whatever problems that you are dealing with as cases. And that's exactly what we expected of you to do. Come prepared for class, as this is applied science. It's not about what it says in the book. It's about how you can work with the problem to solve it with different tools that we will give you as and when you need it. And that means you need to participate actively. Skipping a few classes might be fine, but if you skip too many classes, you're going to get into a world of problems. So you need to prepare for a very active learning and be engaged in classes with us. And also, classes is not everything. Group work consumes even more time when you work on projects, and that's even more important for you to show up and participate actively in those projects and in that group work. As a result of this, you have to be able to manage your own time, because it's not only what it says in your schedule that you're supposed to be doing, it's all the other stuff. It's the meeting with other with your group members, solving projects, and also, of course, preparing for other classes, which can be quite complex from time to time. Now I will hand you over to Annette, who will tell you a little bit more about her experiences with some of these methods of teaching. Annette.
Thank you, Stefan. Yes, so as already Stefan mentioned, that most of the time we are working with real life cases. This means that during the semester and also in the end of the semester, you will get cases what you have to solve, and it's happening right now. There is a lot of cases which is in my mind and exams when what I learned from them, but there is one which is stick to my mind, and this is the first semester exam. We got a company called Bang & Olufsen, which is a leading electronic company here in Denmark. And I remember that it was really, really hard for me in the beginning to work with groups, because in Hungary, most of the time you are working alone. You have to solve problems alone. And here, this is really special. And I remember that the beginning was really hard, but in the end, how grateful and wonderful feeling was that we solved something together. We worked together as a real team, and everybody just wanted to achieve the same goal. And you just motivated each other. You just go out and talk about it. And it was kind of time consuming, but also it was a very, very nice feeling. And now I would like to pass you to Vincenzo, that he also can share his opinion and his examples.
Okay, thank you, Annette. Well, I see the interaction with the lecturers to be more of as a friendship, I would say, because usually when I was in high school or some other courses I did before joining Cphbusiness, was that teacher figure that was just talking and explaining, and you were, as a student, just sitting, and that's not fun. That's actually daunting to go to a class like that. So in this school it's different, because well, in my case, my class is around 20 people, which makes it quite more of like a private session, because also that allows the teachers to be more available for us, even if we have any questions related to the school or even from the outside. They will try their utmost to be available for us, even though if they're not able to, they would refer us to someone within the school that might be able to. And also this helps us because, since as I said, I come from Venezuela, so English is not my mother language. So you might even sometimes be a little bit afraid that you're saying something wrong or not expressing yourself in the proper way. But since the teacher, that exists that relationship with the teachers that allows us to be, to feel relaxed, and they actually encourage us to express ourselves. So that allows me to actually even enjoy the classes, which is something that you are expecting from a university. So now I will pass on to Annette, that will tell you a little bit more about the studies here.
Thank you, Vincenzo. I know that many of you are wondering how it looks like to learning in English and not in your mother language, as Vincenzo already mentioned. And personally, I remember that the first 1 and 2 weeks, it was kind of difficult because, of course, you have to use a totally different language from your mother language. But after maybe 1 or 2 weeks, because you have to read a lot in English, you have to watch videos, you participate in the classes where the teacher speaks you in English, you just let it go because you get used to it. And this is quite nice. Yes, you can see a typical schedule of mine, how it looks like, how I am participating in classes. You could see that there is 1 full day or 2 half day, which is totally free for you. But this is not means that the studying is over when you leave the school. You have to prepare that. You have to study 40 hours, sometimes more, and you have to study these time because you have a lot of group works. You have to talk with your teachers. You have to come to school. You have to prepare. You have to read a lot. So it's nice to manage it next to a part-time job, which is connected to the SU, but it's almost impossible to manage it with a full-time job. So yeah, now I would like to pass you on to Katrine.
Thank you. Let me just turn on my camera. There you go. Yes. So if you like what you heard so far, it would be probably also highly relevant for you to know if you fulfill the admission requirements. And there are 3 things you need to look out for. You need to make sure that you have a qualifying exam. And for most of you, this will be your high school diploma, or sorry, as we call it, upper secondary school diploma. So that would be the first level, to have an exam. And you can see also in the link that we're going to post in the chat, my colleague is posting, whether your background fits with the country where you come from. Does it fit what we need or recognize as a qualifying exam? In addition to this, you need to have had enough mathematics or business economics, as you can see here. And the final thing is we need to make sure that you have the required level. And in order to see that, we accept different tests. My colleague is also posting the different types of English tests we accept in the chat. We go to the Q&A. Let me just see time-wise. 1 minute. Let's see if you have any questions in there in the Q&A. Doesn't seem like there are any in there. So I think we should just go to a short round with you, Vincenzo. First, do you have any final piece of advice, and then move on to you? And we have a question in the chat after that. Francine, could you type away your question, and then we'll take it after Vincenzo. He has given a piece of advice.
Well, the first thing I would say is that don't underestimate the hours of reading that you have to do before the classes, because that will allow you to be, be on top of what the teacher is saying. Because if you don't do that, I've done it, and it's not very good, because you will be lost. You will feel lost. The teacher will be talking there. Will be explaining something, and then you will feel you won't follow what he's saying. So you need to have you organize your time properly, even though you have still time to work and do your stuff, going out and stuff. You will still need to be very focused on that preparation for every single class. So that's I think something that a lot of students overlook.
Thank you, Vincenzo. And then we have a question. I'm sorry, guys, we're going to run a few minutes over time and take a couple of them, and the rest of them we will follow up in the email. So Annette, we have a question about, do we offer any scholarships? And I could start off, and you could add to that one, Annette. So yes, we do, not as a school, but in Denmark, it's possible as an EU citizen mainly to apply for government funding, which is called SU. If you come from abroad outside the European Union, it's more tricky. Then you need to have lived in Denmark for a while. But this can be looked up on a website, which is called su.dk, and I'm sure Søren will post a link for you in the chat as well. So Annette, could you just follow up on the SU? How much do you get per month, and what are the criteria?
Yes, so the main criteria for the SU that you have to work 10 or 12 hours per week. This is totally manageable next to your studies. And actually the process of applying, it's quite easy. You just have to fill up a form, and I get now 5,400 after tax, because you have to pay tax, but it's just 8%. So this is a very low tax amount. But it also depends on what kind of job you are doing, that approximately I would say 5,500 what you can get. And actually this is a nice amount, because you can find some nice places to live, and you can afford a quite nice life here to live.
Thank you, Annette. And then we have a question about, do we help with the SU? And the answer to that one is, once you're an active student, we will help you if you run into problems with the application process, which is mainly online. But we offer help to active current students. Otherwise, the first step is to look up the criteria on the website of su.dk.
I just wanted to say something for this, Catherine, that in the school there is an SU office where you can send all of your questions, and they are answering quite immediately. Yeah, yes, exactly.
But only for active students, not for when you're still applying and you want to figure out something. And also make sure that you bring some savings to Denmark, because you can't be sure to get government funding from day one. First, you need to find a job. And then once you have, sometimes there will be some sort of confusing with the paperwork. And then in that case, it might take a little while before you get the money. So make sure you have a buffer, so you can manage in Denmark even before you get the money for a while at least. Yes, and then the final question we have that we are able to manage this time around is, it is a question, do you provide internship placement in companies, or is it up to students to find those? Stefan, will you reply?
I sure will. A combination. We are so fortunate that we have more internships that we actually have students, but in many cases you might want to find your own company if you find a specific company or industry that you want to work with. But we will most certainly be very helpful to provide you with an internship. There's also another one here in terms of second wave of COVID-19. It would affect us in exactly the same way as the first wave did. We will move online without missing a beat. It's going to be a little bit boring, I'm afraid to say, but we will make up for that in terms of giving you interesting cases.